Well, good evening from London. Welcome to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Advertising is supposed to shove products down our throats. We all know that. At their best, adverts make us smile, laugh, even cry. They make us associate brands with feelings so that we'll buy them. That's the deal. And that's how it's been for generations. But there's a new movement in advertising. They're no longer shoving their products down our throats, just their identity politics. And the only feeling they're inspiring is extreme irritation. Well, Bud Light's the most popular beer in America, and for reasons which are not entirely clear to anybody at the moment, they recently teamed up with Dylan Mulvaney. She was someone who identified until very recently as a gay man, then non-binary, and now apparently is a woman, and is an influencer who makes kitsch videos about womanhood and being a girl from the vantage point of, to be honest, a biological man.
This month, I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it. Check out my Instagram story to see how you can enjoy March Madness with Bud Light and maybe win some money too.
Well, that went down as well as you could be expected, I guess. The response from Bud Light's customers was distinctly unenthusiastic.
The new Bud Light thing. I could be this thing, I could be that thing, or I could be anything.
I'm out.
Cancel Bud Light, you see what it is? We ain't drinking Bud Light.
You can fuck around and find you may make it through the snakes, snares.
Let me say something to all you and be as clear and concise as possible.
Little over the top there from Kid Rock. Now, I personally think unleashing hellfire on cases of Bud Light with a semi-automatic rifle is a slight overreaction. You could just choose to buy a different beer. And as every British person will tell you, it's not really beer anyway, it's kind of fizzy urine. But the serious point is that a major brand is once again force-feeding an ideology onto its customers that they don't want to have. Many women were rightly outraged when Nike used the very same trans influencer to advertise sports bras, even though Dylan Mulvaney has no breasts. And these are not isolated incidents of corporate insanity. We had ads which promote taking the knee, ads which seem to promote mastectomies, ads which promote Black Lives Matter, ads with pregnant men, ads which wrap every single imaginable product, merchandise or service in the rainbow pride flag. And whether you support those causes or not, many of them I do, the common theme is a business promoting a worldview that's kind of irrelevant and unfamiliar to most of the people currently buying their product. The most famous example of this was Gillette, the men's shaving company, which used to advertise like this.
Gillette!
Contour Plus with lubricating strip for the best a man can get.
Oh, I made you proud to be a man, and that was the problem, unfortunately. Can't be proud to be a man anymore. Can't be proud to be masculine. No. Nothing laudable about a man who works hard, makes money, has a beautiful wife, raises great kids, and wins. No. Gillette thought there was a massive problem with this, so they launched, in the light of Me Too, a man-shaming attack ad instead. Take a look at this.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it? We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long.
I remember that ad coming out, and I've been a long-time Gillette customer. These cheeks, most nights, get the old Gillette treatment. And it makes me feel like a man, masculine, proud to be a man. And suddenly I had to feel ashamed. I had to feel like I was a monster unless I could prove otherwise. Why would Gillette do that? Why would it make their millions of male customers be ashamed to be a man? Well, the reaction, as I predicted in the column the next day, was a disaster. I think it cost them $9 billion over the next 6 months before eventually they just did a reverse ferret and went straight back to the old style advertising because men actually wanted to feel good about being a man. And that is still allowed. Just as Budweiser, clearly panicked by the backlash to their use of Dylan Mulvaney, have suddenly released a patriotic ad with wild horses, flags, landmarks, and a lot of burly men. Well, they played with the virtue signalling fire and their fingers were duly burned. The message to the advertisers is clear. Just shut up and sell us your tat. Well, joining me now is political journalist Ava Santina and host and author Layah Heilpern. Well, welcome to both of you. Layah, let me start with you. I can almost predict the way these things are going to go from the moment I see these ads. The moment the advertising companies, who are staffed by a lot of woke people, decide to go woke, they invariably end up nearly going broke.
That's exactly correct. And I just want to backtrack just a little minute, because you did refer to Dylan as a she, and let's just be clear and live in reality for a second. Dylan is a man. And just like you mentioned with Gillette, yes, if you do go woke, then yes, you will go broke. They lost $6 billion in their stock price. And so it's very clear there's just not an appetite for it. These major companies are so stupid, and it really surprises me how they think there is such an appetite for it. There clearly isn't. They don't know their audience. And it's just embarrassing that the way that they had to flip so quickly and create this patriotic advert. To me, it shows they're disingenuous. And it's also really important to remember that they don't care. They don't really care about these social justice issues. They're just doing it to make money. They're still capitalists at the end of the day, just like all the other companies that do it. They really don't care.
Yeah, I mean, Ava, this reminded me a little bit of the England football team at the World Cup in Qatar saying, you know, we're all going to wear armbands to show that we're all for pride, right? And then the moment they got told they were going to get booked, off came the armbands, which made me think they didn't really care about gay rights. They cared about signalling their virtue for gay rights, right to the point somebody might wave a little yellow card at them and might actually cause them a little bit of a problem on the pitch. So it wasn't, to me, a principled stand. And I find with this, I didn't really care about the Bud Light one. I thought it was a stupid thing to do because it clearly backfired exactly how I could have predicted. The Nike one, I think, is more problematic.
Why?
Because you as a woman, how comfortable do you feel about someone who, until last year, was a gay man of 25, suddenly, without any surgery, starts doing TikTok videos saying, I'm now into womanhood and I'm a girl, on a journey to being a girl, and then does a Nike ad for sports bras for women, despite not having any breasts, and more importantly, mocks the way women do sport if you look at it as a misogynist.
That's ridiculous.
It's not.
That is ridiculous. She's not mocking the way that we do sport. And also, can I just say that was really rude from your other guest? I don't know what her name is, but Dylan, she's a she. I don't understand why you'd need to open up your commentary with that. You're obviously appealing to a certain
Well, she would like to identify now as a she.
Yeah, just leave her alone.
But until last year, she was a he.
But look, importantly,
and then she was a non. Hang on, Ava, it's complicated keeping up.
You asked me a question.
I know, but it's complicated keeping up with these people. Like Sam Smith, who was a gay man. Then he was non-binary, then he was gender fluid. Yeah. Now I have no idea what he is, other than he dresses up like Satan half the time. I don't know what Dylan Mulvaney really is, other than a lot of women, particularly in America, have taken great exception to the way Dylan Mulvaney mocks female behaviour, because they believe that Dylan Mulvaney is a biological man.
Listen, the anti-trans movement in America is very different to what it is in Britain. In Britain, feminists claim that it's because they're worried about men invading their spaces. Fine, whatever. In America, it's a conservative movement, and it's because they don't believe that that trans women fit into society. And it's all out of this pent-up Christian aggression that is quite disgusting.
Yeah, but this is where you're wrong. Because I actually went on Bill Maher's show. We're going to interview Riley Gaines later, who's the swimmer at the centre of this big row over Layah Thomas, who's the transgender swimmer crushing all the women in swimming pools in America. And it's a very liberal crowd, the Bill Maher show. Very liberal, in Los Angeles. I've been on there before and got booed for saying anything remotely contentious that might go against woke. When I vigorously defended Riley Gaines against a very aggressive female Democrat politician who was trying to say that she was doing it all for likes and, you know, what was she doing, and you've got to stand up for trans rights, and who cares? The audience cheered everything I said in response, and deafening silence for her.
But that's a tiny little,
No, but it told me that it's not just a right-wing thing. It's not.
It is a right.
You're deluded if you think it's only right-wing people that feel this way.
Look, I hate how you've opened up this debate and asked me if I find it offensive as a woman or whatever. I don't care. I don't care that Dylan doesn't have breasts and wears sports bras. In the same way that women who've had double mastectomies because of breast cancer don't wear, they wear a sports bra as well. It doesn't bother me what's in people's pants or in people's, bras.
Really?
No, I'm not preoccupied with that.
Do you care that Layah Thomas, a 6'4" biological male who competed unsuccessfully as a man at swimming, is now winning national championship swimming races against biological females?
I think that's extrapolating the argument.
Do you care?
Because what we're talking about is Dylan and whether she's on a beer can.
We're talking about the whole trans issue. My argument to you is, do you care about that?
Is she a woman?
Huh?
In my opinion, she's a woman, so she can compete.
You don't care?
That's fine.
You think it's perfectly fair?
It's fine.
Completely
It was
nuts.
approved by the board.
This is that woman.
And?
She's a biological male.
Yeah, but that's like saying...
who has a natural physical advantage, which means she crushes the women.
So does Usain Bolt.
Huh?
So does Usain Bolt.
He's a man who competes against men.
He's a superhuman man.
He competes against his own biological sex.
No, but that's a ridiculous parameter to have.
It's not, though,
If you are built differently, should you be within certain restrictions or measurements?
There are many sprinters built exactly like Usain Bolt. That's ridiculous. Let's go back to Layah here. We see again and again these companies do this. You say they don't care, but I'm not sure it's that. I think it's more that they care about appealing to the woke crowd because a lot of them are too scared not to.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And just to your guess, just because what I said is rude doesn't mean it's not reality. It's just rubbish. This is just the reality of it. Dylan is a man. He has XY chromosomes. I don't know why we're going down this crazy, weird, Powerpuff Girl kind of reality. It's all very bizarre.
Why are you so obsessed with what genitalia that she does or doesn't have?
And, it's very concerning because if a biological man is able to identify as a woman because of how he feels without having any surgery or anything like that, then where do we draw the line? It basically means that a biological man can then identify as a little girl, then start having play dates with 6-year-old girls,
I'll tell you what,
sharing beds with 6-year-old girls. Why not?
All right, let me ask Ava a
He
question.
identifies that way. It's just absurd. It's truly illogical, and it's a very, very dangerous ideology.
Let me ask Ava a question. You mentioned Usain Bolt. What would you feel if Usain Bolt suddenly identified as a woman?
That's a ridiculous question.
Oh,
and you know
why?
it is. Come on, that's
Why?
silly. Because you can't wake up tomorrow morning and decide that you're a woman and start competing.
It's literally what Layah Thomas has done.
It takes 2 years. In the UK, it takes 2 years.
It takes 1 year to qualify in athletics, right? So Usain Bolt could potentially, within a year, with a bit of reduced testosterone treatment, he could sprint against women.
A huge reduction in testosterone.
Yeah. It makes no difference to body mass or size or power.
But it would
speed.
It would alter everything.
So would you be fine with that?
If he suddenly did, if that's...
You'd respect his right to be a woman. It's not ridiculous. It is ridiculous, but not for the reasons you think. Because it could happen. And you think it's fair.
That's obscene. That is obscene.
Would you be happy if Usain Bolt identified as a woman and began winning the races against women by 2 seconds?
You're making an extreme argument out of what are people's lives.
It's happening with Layah Thomas.
But it's not. What's happening?
But it is.
The crux of this argument is people like Dylan are now going to face extreme hate and extreme concern in their community.
People like Dylan Mulvaney are making millions and millions of dollars, in my view, making a mockery of the trans issue. For all intents and purposes, Dylan Mulvaney is still a biological male. He's had no surgery at all, or testosterone
then what
reduction.
Is the perfect trans person, in your opinion?
It's not a perfect trans person. It's about what that person is doing in advertising. Many women feel is mocking what it is to be a woman.
But did she want to be on Bud Light, or did Bud Light make the ridiculous, proposition to put her on the can? Whose fault is it, and who's getting the blame, and who's getting attacked? It's this poor woman in the States. Why?
No, I don't feel sorry for Dylan Mulvaney. She is laughing all the way to the bank. He, she, whatever you want to call her. The reality is the people that are suffering, I think, are the unknown trans people who I think are being exposed to constant mockery through these kind of things. By the likes of Layah Thomas crushing women in the pool, by Dylan Mulvaney making a mockery of the way women wear sports bras and do gym work and so on. All of that is unhelpful to regular trans people just trying to get by and wanting to have a bit of fairness and equality. The moment you try and get a new unfairness and inequality for any group of people at the expense of another group, you lose it.
I don't agree.
I know you don't, and you're wrong. Ava, thank you very much. Layah, thank you very much.